come to your comfortable seat. As you come to your comfortable seat, think about giving your hips, your low back, hip flexors a chance to release a little bit by maybe sitting up on something. And then as you rest your hands down and start to lengthen even more through your sides, and especially think of your collarbones and your throat lifting and moving back. Let your eyes close and start to take a couple full deep breaths. So we've been focusing on this concept of setting intentions. And today we'll bring into this setting of intentions the idea of self-acceptance, of accepting where we are, which is something that as we age and as we move through life, we have the opportunity to practice more and more. But even more than just self-acceptance is self-love, to actually love who we are, where we are, and the whole package, the whole journey. So now if you'd like to take the mudra for this one, base of palms come together and pinkies and thumbs touch as you open the rest of your fingers up. This is our lotus flower mudra. And bring this to your heart. As you take a couple big breaths, this is an honoring of that growth, of that gradual blossoming into your perfect self, perfect with flaws, and even the flaws are perfect. So take a full big deep breath. And the affirmation is, I am already always perfect. I am already always perfect. And now connect palms at heart center in Anjali Mudra. And let's take our thumbs to our third eye and back to heart center. And now bow toward your heart, honoring yourself for this time today to tune in to some self-acceptance and to some awareness. As you softly open your eyes and release your hands down, again, start to lift up and open through the heart, lifting up through the chest, and even more so, think collarbones lifting, neck lifting and moving back. Head back in space, and then turn your palms out to the sides, reaching through fingertips, plug in with shoulder blades. Then inhale, reach your arms up overhead, and think of shoulder distance here with your arms, and then re-plug in with your shoulder blades. And then engage fingertips, lift up through your front, and then engage a little bit through the low belly and the ribs. And now take a hold of your right wrist and stretch over to the left side. Put both shoulder blades on your back and move back through your collarbones, your neck, your head. Then inhale, come back into center and switch wrists and exhale over to the right side. Root through sitting bones, lengthen your sides, and then again, move back through collarbones, head and neck. Inhale, come back up to center, release your hands and bring hands out to your knees and begin to move through a gentle cat and cow here, seated movement. Exhale to press back through your spine. Inhale to draw your heart forward. One more time, full deep exhale, long full inhale, and then walk your hands forward and come as deeply into a forward fold here as your body is ready for. You can always bring elbows up onto a prop. Add a couple of movements through the hips, through the sides. And then as you let your eyes close here, tune back into that idea of self-acceptance, self-love. Set that intention. And then rise all the way back up and switch the cross of your legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself, and move your sitting bones. And now hands come to clasp behind the back of your head and press your head back in space. Open elbows up and draw shoulder blades onto your back. As you press your head back, think of your collarbones and your neck moving back as your head pushes back. Take a big couple of breaths. Try to stay that open through the chest, your head moving back as you start to take side to side movement here. Elbows open, full big breath. And then back into center now, releasing your hands down. Take left fingertips to the floor beside you. Reach your right arm up and over your ear. And as you take that depth of side stretch that's right for you today, tuning into where your body needs to go or doesn't need to go, right? That's that self-acceptance part. Take a big deep breath. Root down through both sitting bones and expand more through your right ribs. Then exhale, turn downward through your right shoulder, drawing in through your rib cage, and especially think of trying to puff up through the right rib cage in the back. Then inhale up and open, take your right fingertips out to the right side, left arm up and over the ear, and take a big breath. And if for whatever reason the arm does not feel good lifted, then bend your elbow or take your hand to your hip. Take a big, full, deep breath and come to that place that's right for you. And then expand more into the left ribs. Big breath. And then turn downward with the left shoulder. Left ribs are drawing in. You're expanding into the left upper back. Then inhale up and open. And as you come back up to that tall spine, walk your hands up to your knees. And one more time, move through a couple rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, belly and heart forward. Exhale, press back through your spine. One more, full deep inhale, long full exhale. Then inhale, sit tall and shift forward onto your hands and your knees. And from hands and knees, take a moment to set up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Then tuck toes under and lift hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. And take a moment to notice if down dog is a bit much for you today, then tune into where you are and practice some self-acceptance and maybe come to your knees instead. But sway hips side to side regardless of whether you're on hands and knees or in down dog. And now we'll do some tiptoes and stretches through the calves. So rise to tiptoes, tilt sitting bones up, and then exhale, lower back toward heels. Inhale, rise to tiptoes, sitting bones lift. And exhale, lower back toward heels. One more time. Inhale, rise tall. And exhale, lower back down. And now walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. And take an inhale to lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. And from this place, back of your neck can be long. You can always heel toe your feet out a little wider if that feels better. Give a few nods. And some shakes of your head. And ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. And then bring hands up above your knees, extend your heart. Send sitting bones up. And then with a squeeze to your glutes, a push into the floor, walk your hands up your legs to rise all the way up to stand. Now from this place, reset your feet. Inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and then root them down. Turn your palms open, lift up through your heart space, and even more so, collarbones lift and move back. Neck moves back, head moves back. Take a big deep breath. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, bend knees, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. And exhale, fold. Fingertips plant, right foot steps back into your lunge. Hands come up to whatever props you're using, blocks or maybe a stack of books or a chair. Center with your hips and grow longer through your spine. Think of your front moving forward. Ribs move forward, collarbones move forward and up. And now work your front leg towards straight into this hamstring stretch. First one of the day, so we'll take it gently. So keep a little or a big bend to your knee, depending on what you need today. And then wrap back with your left hip and send your sitting bones up, starting to create a little bit of a low back lumbar curve. Then inhale, bend into your front knee, walk your hands to the inside and turn your back foot, turn your front foot, start to pivot for that wide stance version of your fold, facing the right side. Take a look at feet and bring outside edges of your feet toward parallel. Then lift and spread your toes, lift your inner arches, and then set down with your toes. Press your pinky toe edges into the ground. From here, a little bend to one knee at a time. At the same time, try to find more lift through sitting bones. Then back into center, extending with your heart. Think of collarbones lifting. And then pivot toward the front of your mat. This time step all the way back, downward facing dog pose. Take a full big deep breath. Find that rotation of upper arm bones and then from lats, push out through your hands. Rise to tiptoes and tilt sitting bones up. And then lower back toward heels. And now we're working our right foot forward in between our hands. So if bringing your left knee to the ground to get it there is where you need to go, feel free. And then you can lift that back knee up, or in our lunges, you're always welcome to have it down. But center with your hips and grow longer through your spine. Take a big, full, deep breath. As you move your collarbones forward, also lift them and lift your head. And now work your front leg towards straight, coming to that brief hamstring stretch here. So big toe mound is pushing down and wrap your right hip back. Then send both sitting bones up. And now bend into your front knee and we'll pivot, taking that wide stance fold, facing the left side. Check pinky toe edges, bring them to parallel to each other. And then lift and spread your toes, and then push down with toes as you root through the pinky edges of your feet. Sitting bones lift, and from this place with a little bend to your knees, or a big bend if you need, we'll work down as low as you need into a fold. So you might bring elbows to something. You might bring hands to the ground or hands to a prop. But find the variation of fold here that feels the best in your body. Noticing and working with what's present in your body. Take another full couple of breaths. Then inhale, extend your heart. And exhale, pivot toward the front of your mat and step forward. Now next, exhale, fold over your legs. And as you fold, hands can be on something. And if you have a tight low back, then sometimes that's elbows at thighs or hands at thighs. Send sitting bones up, extend further through your heart. Big, deep breath. And then walk your hands up your legs to rise all the way up to stand. And as you come up to a standing position, we will work a little bit more through our hamstrings. So we're going to find our balance onto our left foot. And if you want to be at a wall, feel free to, or just standing beside something sometimes helps. But find your balance onto your left foot and lift your right knee up. Lift your chest up. Collarbones lift up and back. Chin tucks a little bit inward, and now clasp underneath your thigh here. And as you lift your knee up a little further and lift up through your chest, also begin to press down a little bit, hamstrings into your hands. Full big deep breath, pull toes up. And then if you want to, if it feels okay in your body, you're extending your leg long. Take a big deep breath and wrap the right hip down to level the hips a little bit. One more time, collarbones up and back, head back. And then bend your knee and set your foot down. And as you come to the second side, you can recognize the differences here. And again, it's a part of that self-acceptance is to notice that we're not symmetrical and that it's okay. Lift your left knee, pause, lift your chest, collarbones, neck is back, head is back, and then begin to clasp underneath your thigh. As you wrap your hip down and lift your knee up, start to push down with your hamstrings into your hands. And then begin to press your heel forward. As forward as your body is ready for. Take a big breath and just notice that place at your collarbones, lifting and moving back. Good, and then bend your knee, set your foot down, and find feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and root. Turn your palms, close your eyes for a moment and take a big breath. And inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, bent knees to pull over your legs. Inhale to lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Planting fingertips, left foot steps back this time into your lunge. Turn and plant your back heel so your foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Bend into your front knee to that point of stacking, shin straight up and down. Bring right elbow to your knee, left hand to your hip. Then start to take that turning of your torso to the left side. Shoulder blades are on your back. Push down with your elbow. Move your collarbones back and your head back. Keep that and stretch either straight up with your top arm or over your ear, whichever helps you to stay the most open through your chest. Take a big deep breath. On your exhale, both hands come down to your blocks, come to the highest point. And then we're going to work our front leg towards straight. If you need to bump your back foot in a little bit or turn it slightly forward, you can, but triangle pose. So block or the floor or your shin or your thigh with your right hand. Left hand to your hip as you start to turn your belly and your heart to the left. Knee turns toward the pinky toe edge on your front foot, even as you turn your belly and your heart open. Shoulder blades engage. Send your collarbones back, your throat back, your head back. And exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Tuck your back toes and step all the way back into a downward facing dog pose and pause for a full breath. And now inhale, come forward into your plank, and you can use knees here if you'd like, but extend your front. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Lift your collarbones in your head. Exhale, bend elbows lower down. Inhale, curl up and open through your chest as high as your body needs to go. Take your variation of your cobra pose, maybe high, maybe low, somewhere in between. Deep breath. Then exhale, downward facing dog pose, or hands and knees, you choose. And now we're working our left foot forward. So again, if you need to bring right knee down to get it there, feel free. Take a big breath, extend your heart longer, turn and plant your back heel now. And we'll come to that side angle pose variation on the second side. So bend into your front knee. And then bring elbow to your knee, right hand to your hip. And as you turn your knee open and bend deeper, also turn more open with your torso. Shoulder blades on your back. Collarbones are back, head is back. Take a big, full, deep breath. And then work front leg towards straight as you bring your right or your left hand rather to your block, can be to your shin or your thigh, wherever you need to be for your triangle pose. And again, back foot can always bump a little in and turn a little in if you need. As you turn your belly and your heart more open, just notice the tendency for your left knee to also turn. So use your glute to help you keep it open. And now with shoulder blades on your back, send your collarbones back, your head back. Take a big deep breath. And now exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat, bending into that front knee, and then settle back onto hands and knees. Big toes together, knees wide, hips to heels, child's pose. Take another full, big, deep inhale and exhale. And then push yourself all the way up to your seat. And from your seat, we're going to take legs out long in front of us. So if you want to, you can always roll up a blanket or bring a bolster underneath your legs. But staff pose, move sitting bones, and then press fingertips or palms into the floor to help lift up with your chest. Collarbones lift and move back, head is back. Take a big deep breath. And now soles of feet come together, taking this butterfly mountain angle pose. And find the distance away from you where your low back all the way down into your sacrum can tilt forward and up. As you find that place, feel free to prop. Sometimes that feels better on hips or knees. And then hold on where it helps you to sit even taller. And again, move through the collarbones, the neck, the head. Deep, full breath. And now if a fold is in your practice, feel free to hinge at the hips and take whatever distance of fold or whatever depth of fold, I should say, is in your practice today. Recognizing where you're folding from. So if it's a lot of round into the low back, then maybe come a little more upright to be able to lengthen the low back, tilt the pelvis, deep breath. Then inhale, rise all the way back up, and knees come together and make your way all the way down onto your back. And from your back, footprints to the floor, and come to a T or a cactus with your arms, and gently shift your shoulder blades in toward each other. And then from that place, walk your feet out wide and drop knees side to side slowly. And as you take that slow action here, take it slow enough so you can sense on each side what's showing up in your body. And then back into center now, extend both legs. And you're going to reach both arms, and you can clasp hands if you want to, but we're just going to reach through heels, reach through arms, and just notice. Sometimes if you reach really long, then your low back will lift a little bit more. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. But take a really big breath into your low back. And now walk your feet back in. So you have bent knees, and you can always set pillow or bolster underneath your legs here and let them rest. Because now we'll do a little bit more focus on our arms. So cross left elbow over your right to take a hug or to take eagle. And from this place, take a couple big breaths into that space in between your shoulder blades. And then switching the cross, take that eagle or hug on the second side. Again, whichever feels the best. Self-acceptance here of where your body is. Full big breath. And then unwind the arms and start to rest. As you let yourself settle in for your rest, recognize with your breath any of the places in your body that are maybe holding on to tension, or where you just have some sort of sensation. Without any judgment, just send your breath to those places with that thought of self-acceptance, self-love, not needing it to be any different than it is. And bring awareness back to your breath. And add some gentle movements into fingers and into toes. And as you're ready to, bend your knees and roll over to your side. And gently press yourself back up to your seat. And coming back to this mudra or hand position if you'd like. Base of palms come together. Pinkies and thumbs come together, and then open the rest of your fingers up wide. Lotus flower mudra. At your heart. With your eyes closed, take a moment to come back to that affirmation of I'm already always perfect. Hands come to Anjali Mudra or prayer position. Draw them to your third eye and back to heart center. And bow toward your heart. Have a beautiful and peaceful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.